Okay, start again. Good morning. We start this session. We are going to have a discussion on online retailing versus traditional retailing. We know very well in India now we have online retailing progressing at a rather rapid pace. And India has been a country of retail, traditional retail since long. We have our own unique way of retail in India that has been developed over the years. And now we have a concept that is online retail. Companies like Flipkart, Amazon are doing offering such large discounts. They are making such aggressive marketing. So we might pause and wonder what is going to happen to our traditional retail. Will traditional retail survive, or will online retail replace traditional retail entirely? I feel that's a good point for discussion at this point in time. As we move forward, before I start the discussion, let me put a few questions to you, just for your thought. Now, can online replacing ever replace traditional retailing? That is a question we are asking. Then, how is it that online retailers, with their aggressive strategy, how is it that they are able to offer such large discounts, 30%, 40%, even 70% discounts to customers, and yet they are able to survive? How is it possible? Then I come to you as a customer. Now you may be buying a lot of things on online retail. Suppose tomorrow Flipkart and Amazon and Snapdeal, all of them stop giving you discounts. Will you still buy from them? Then again, in times of these aggressive selling strategies, what can traditional retailers do to keep the market that they have? How can traditional retailers remain the force that they are today in India? These are some of the questions which I believe you will get answers as you listen to my session. Now, in this session, what I would like to cover is our traditional retailing. In India, we have what we call a unique system of retail. Traditional retailing, what it is. We will also look at online retailing, what this online retailing is, how it has developed. Then we will compare traditional retail and online retail, we will compare. Then what can traditional retailers do in order to meet the challenge of online retail? These are the issues that I would be addressing in this session. And the way ahead for traditional retailers, that's what I would like to see. Now, talking about retailing. Retailing, is one of the largest industries in India. In fact, it is one of the biggest sources of employment also. Agriculture is our main source of employment. After agriculture, it is said retailing is the biggest employment source. There are 12 million retail outlets in India, as on statistics made available few years ago. Now it will be little more. If we calculate, we find that this is one retail store for every 100 people in India, of every 100 customers. That's a big number. The number of shops is a big number. And the total retail market, it was estimated at 6 lakh crores. So we have such a wide network. But the issue here is that the retailers are small shops, or we can say the unorganized sector. 90 to 95% of Indian retail is in the unorganized sector, comprising of small shops. By small shops, I would say family run or individual owned shops, which is slightly different from what we see in other countries. Organized retail or large retailers, in India we have only about, I would say, about 8 to 10%. Whereas in countries like USA, then UK, big retailers and organized retailers, they constitute up to about 80%. Even in Japan, 60 to 70% of the retailers are big retailers. Whereas here we have the difference that about 80 to 90% of the shops in India, they are small retailers, one-man shops or the family-run shops. The family members are the employees. We say Kirana stores, we say mom and pop stores. The father goes to the business in the morning, he sits there, afternoon he comes home, the mother sits there. In the evening, probably the son comes from college or school and son sits there. So it's a family business, and the majority of the retail shops in India are family driven, family businesses. Small individual family, less than 500 square feet in size. And organized retail is about 8 to 10%. So that is the situation in India. Or that has been the situation that there we are now having new concepts like department stores, supermarkets, hypermarkets, one by one are coming. That is the situation as of today. Now, when we look at retail, we have to focus on a few points. I am just telling you the market, because we look at this market only later on. When we go into the analysis, we will find these points useful. Now, in retail, I suppose I don't have to tell what is retail. Anyway, let us start with the definition of retail. Anybody or any business entity that sells goods to the end consumer for personal, non-business use is a retailer. So all the words that I have said, they have their own significance. Any business entity, a business sells to another person. The person consumes it. If the person resells it, it is not retail. If the person uses it in some manufacturing process, it is not retail. Only when it is sold to a end consumer or the person actually consuming, that becomes a retail transaction. So it is then that it becomes retail. The goods may be sold in a shop. It could be sold person to person. It could be sold by mail. It could be sold by internet. It could be sold by telephone or even by a vending machine. All that will constitute retail as long as it is going to the end consumer. That is many places I go, many people I talk to, many students I talk to, they bring up so many things. But the key here is the end consumer. Anything that is given to the end consumer is retail. So now talking about retail, the retailer has some roles or some duties. Like in every retail transaction, the order quantity tends to be small. We don't have big, rarely, or it's a big family buying. It will be maybe once in a month they might buy. But you look at the retail transactions, most of them 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, 2000 rupees, 5000 rupees. It's the order quantity tends to be small. Then retailer would have to always stock a large assortment of goods. So the type of people coming there too, somebody wants a toothbrush, he wants a soap, he wants a notebook, then he wants some cover, he wants this item, that item, then he goes to the vegetable. So one thing of a large number of things. Next customer comes in, similar pattern, but he may buy totally different things. I buy one brand, next person wants brand 2, another person wants brand 3. So what happens is that the retailer will always have to keep a big assortment of things. And generally in retail, most of the buying is impulse buying. People go with plans, but when they reach the retail shop, often plans change. And they see something in the shop, they buy it. There are many retailers who have become very adept at that. That is, we say impulse buying. So here what happens is that inventory management becomes critical in retail. When you are having so much of impulse buying, if you don't have an item, you are losing the sale. So impulse buying is a factor, hence inventory management becomes a predominant factor in retail. Now you might ask, what should be the marketing mix of a retailer? To a large extent, it depends on the customer mix that he is trying to serve. Customer mix to a large extent is reflected by the location. Your retail store is next to a school. Another retail store is next to a railway station. The location itself tells you what is the type of inventory or stock you must have. Next to a school, you have all the things for school children. When your shop is next to the railway station, it is mainly for the traveler or the tourist. So your marketing mix has to reflect all of that. That is what we do. So talking about the marketing strategy of a retailer would like to have a clear idea of the target customer. Depending on the target customers, he can draw up his strategy. Location of the store, it plays importance. In retail, we say location is one of the major factors in determining the success of your store. When people plan to start a retail store, they have to give a lot of emphasis on location. Ensure that you get the correct location. Well chosen location, your job is 70-80% done. Then you maintain the correct inventory, your job is very easy. Then the retailer, through the marketing strategy, he would like to convey a particular image of his store. Depending on the customer, you would like to convey an image of the store. What type of store or image should come in the customer's mind, that will be conveyed. Then there are other things like payment terms, merchandise offers. All these factors have a bearing on the marketing strategy. Now, just to review this Indian retail, I have been telling from the beginning of this that Indian retail is dominated by Kirana stores, or we say mom and pop stores. That is the uniqueness of retail in India. We see customer walks down, customer has to walk down to the store, go to the retailer has displayed the items on the shelf, you take it, you pick it up, you notice it, watch it, read it, even feel it, then after that you are making the choice. Especially when it is fashion goods, you are able to see the goods and then you are able to make your choice after seeing the goods properly. That is an important factor because later on we are going to online retail, we see that. Then you pay for the goods, you get it immediately. Sometimes availability becomes critical, like if it is milk for a child, or you want something urgent in the house, some vegetables in the house, you go to the store and get it. And retail store is always there, ready to help you. You take the item, pay for it, come back to your house. So that is one speciality of retail. And when we talk about traditional retailing, we have been talking about let us look at some of the advantages that traditional retail gives. Then in one of the biggest factors I would say is face-to-face communication with the retailer or the dealer is possible. You are conveying what you want to him. He understands you well because he is there. He is a specialist. He is there. He understands what you want and gives you the product. You take it. Then you are able to make a critical evaluation. He gives you the product. You look at the packet. You look at the back side of the. You look at the statistics. Everything you look at. Then you do an important thing. You ask the retailer his opinion. There are 3 or 4 brands available. You don't know which to buy. You ask the retailer which is the one, what would you recommend? The retailer knows you. He knows where you live. He knows where you are working. Everything he knows. He will give you a recommendation. Sir, you choose this brand. This brand is good. This is the one that many people are buying. So that recommendation by the dealer is important for many people. And you take that brand and come in. So we can say retailer recommendation plays an important part when retail. What the people have over time come to rely on the retailer's words and what the retailer says while they make their purchase decision. Then we say easy return policies. You take it from the retailer. If the retailer knows you, if there is a bond between the retailer and the customer, the goods are returned, retailer takes it back. Either he refunds or he gives you something else. These are all policies that have been traditionally been followed. So there is not much of confusion. Things are very simple. Things are very straight. These are the advantages, I would say, of traditional retail in India. Now looking at the other side, I have been saying that mostly they are dominated by small families or single families. Technology has not made much impact in India. It's only after the advent of organized retail that technology has come in a big way. Now, of course, retailers are doing, but major ones generally are the ones who are using technology. And technology is not being fully utilized by retail. And a little bit of professionalism also has to come in, which we are unable to see in most of the retail shops that are here. Then customer management, customer service, better customer response. There are many things that retail has to see. Now, when we talk about retail, we were talking only about the small retailers who form the major chunk of retail in India. But new forms of retail, brick and mortar retail, are evolving in India. Now we have a lot of supermarkets, we have a lot of department stores, we have chain retailers, we have shopping malls, we have hypermarket, we have mega marts, so many things we have now. All these form part of mostly organized retail, where private companies, people who get a license and start a retail business. That is what we call organized retail. Trading activity undertaken by licensed retailers is what we call organized retailing. And here it is constituting about 10% of the total market in India. In foreign countries, organized retail is much more, but in India it is reverse. And many of these organizations, they are backed by large corporates. So you have all the big push of the corporates in many of the retail chains that you see around. Now looking at the evolution of retail in India, of course traditionally we have been having the single owner independent retailer concept. But from say around 1980s, we started experiencing little bit of change. Till then it was the independent retailer or the kirana stores that made the bulk. Then there were some here and there were some weekly markets, either vegetables, fish, food, weekly markets were there in many parts of the country. Then there were some government run stores, or we could say government supported shops. This was the concept in the till the early 80s. After that, we started having supermarkets initially. That was around the mid 80s. Concept of supermarkets started coming. Supermarkets mainly for food and grocery, for household items. Supermarkets started coming. Then these supermarkets, they evolved into department stores, big department stores. 500,000 square feet big department store. We have different departments for each item. That's why it's called department stores. Apparel is one place, footwear or provisions, like different departments in the same store, and possibly around 10,000 square feet also used to be the size of these department stores. Then from these, in the 90s, a new concept came. That is what we would call as the shopping malls. Shopping malls, we all know, we see now shopping malls in almost every city in India. From shopping malls, we moved further to the concept of hypermarkets. Many of the corporates, they have started hypermarkets, big stores. Here, when we say supermarket, department store, shopping malls, everywhere, it's the size of the shop that is determining various things, and the items they stock and the manner in which they are selling. So this way, retailing has been evolving in India. It has been unorganized retail, little bit of organized retail has come, and even organized retail is only at 10%. And it has a long way to go. Many of the organized retailers themselves are not breaking even yet. In this scenario comes something new, that is what we call the concept of online retailing. Online retailing has come into India over the past maybe 5-6 years. It has been growing in India at a good pace. The point to be discussed here is that today's consumers, they are all very busy people. Today, because of the changing lifestyles, people tend to be very busy. And people don't find time for relaxation. And they don't find time for shopping. So what happens? We find more and more people choosing the concept of online shopping. Sitting in the comfort of your house, you may be able to order things. We know that, and you can do whatever research you want, you can do on the net. You choose any online retail website, you understand it, you study it, you make your purchase. If you have to make payment immediately, you can make it. There are secure gateways, you can make your payment. As soon as you make the payment, they will tell you when the goods are going to reach you. 3 days or 4 days, whatever they tell, within the time the goods come to you. Then you open the packet, you see it, you use it. If you don't like, you have a provision, you have a system for returning the goods. When the goods come, if you find that, oh, this was not what I meant, this looks different from what I saw in the picture that was shown on the net, you have every right to return it. Return it and your money is refunded within minimum time. So that is how online retail is operating today, and we know this business to B2C commerce, we say, it is growing in a big way in India because of these factors, and major players in India you would know very well. Flipkart came into India in 2007, Snapdeal came in 2010, Amazon, which came in 2013, already it is claiming about 500% growth over 2013. That's the pace of rapid growth that online retailing is having in India. Now we have to first look at, I would say, what are the advantages that online retail has, or if you feel that you want to start an online retail business, some of the advantages that can be offered to you are here. Through online retail, you are able to reach out to a very large market thanks to the internet. Wherever the internet is available, you have a customer. You have a potential customer, I would say. Then it is something very cost effective business. You need good website, you need some good website maintenance, that's all you need. There is no need of a large physical store, 10,000, 20,000 square feet store in these days of rentals going through the roof. You don't require physical space, costly space to run a retail store. You need only the maintenance, then you are able to provide all information about the product on the website. Once you put in the information, put it along with the product, it is there for as long as you want it. You don't have to keep repeating to every customer. Like when you go to a shop, you ask the salesman what it is. Customer after customer is coming, the salesman has to repeat the same thing. That is not there. Once you make a proper description and put it on the website, it is there forever if you want it. So that's another advantage. Then you have to make or create proper brand awareness and good customer engagement you must have. What you do is if you have a good search engine strategy, you will be able to reach a large number of customers. Your success is on the search engine optimization, the search engine strategy that you are going to adopt. So and moreover, you can have a very large assortment of stores. Earlier we were discussing the importance of having a good assortment of stores. That is possible in online retail when you have proper tie-ups with required companies. That's what all these retailers are doing. You just look at the website of Flipkart or Snapdeal or Amazon, thousands and thousands of products. It's all come there on the basis of alliances with different suppliers, with the different vendors and different dealers that they have. So when a dealer is interested in marketing his products, he can approach Amazon or Flipkart. They do their analysis. They are ready to put your products on their website. When customer who watches on the internet asks for your specific product, you are informed. And you will have to do the logistics. You will have to make the supplies. And Flipkart ensures that customer makes the payment and the payment comes to you. So that's how it works. They have a large number of dealers and associates and affiliates who are supplying goods, it's all third parties. A large number of third parties are supplying goods on the Flipkart and Amazon website. So, what happens here? This third party responsibility, this websites take up, Flipkart or other companies take up, but many a time they may not have much of control. Anyway, that's a different matter. We come to that possibly later. Now, let us look at the growth of online retailing in India. As I was just telling you, traditional retailers feel they are threatened by this online retailing. Companies like Flipkart and all of them, we have a big range of them, they have been threatening the market, and I would say they are changing the rules of the game. How we have to see? One interesting thing is that they are offering huge discounts to customers, and that is one of the ways. I would say it's a sort of aggressive marketing to bring customers, because Indian customer has not been doing much of online transactions. They have to bring the customer to come and make these transactions. How is it possible? So they have this strategy of what we call offering huge discounts to the customer. And whenever a customer sees the price of the product is 5,000 rupees, say, which means that if you are walking into a traditional retail shop, you will get it at 5,000 rupees. But on the Flipkart site, they say 5,000 rupees less 30%, 40% discount. 30% means about 1,500 rupees discount we are getting. You are getting at 3,500 rupees, a discount of 1,500 rupees for items which are available at full price on retailer stores. That is sort of an inducement, I would say a marketing inducement or a tactic to bring in customers. Now, you may wonder how that is possible. How is it that people like Flipkart are able to offer such discounts? You may wonder. Well, there are 2 or 3 reasons for that. Some are created by traditional retailers themselves. Some are because of the system. Some are because of the marketing strategies of these people. Now, we know the traditional distribution chain. How do goods reach the retailer that you buy from? The distribution channel starts from the manufacturer, possibly a C&F agent, there is a wholesaler, there is a semi-wholesaler, then there is a retailer, and from the retailer it comes to you. So there is a big chain. By the chain, at every stage on the chain, there is a margin that goes. But there are other expenses. There are logistics expenses. There are transportation expenses. There are taxes. So many expenses are there at every point in the distribution channel. And all these will add up to the cost that you are paying. Manufacturer sells at his ex-factory price plus taxes. Then C&F agent adds his margin. Wholesaler adds his margin as well as other expenses that may be involved or the transportation that may take place. Ultimately, when it reaches the retailer and from the retailer to the consumer, there are a lot of channel expenditures that have taken place and that have contributed to the cost because of these channel intermediaries. Now, when online shoppers go, what do? They go straight to the manufacturer. Manufacturer can give at his price to them. Online retailers don't go to the wholesaler or the semi-wholesaler. They go direct to the manufacturer and promise to take the bulk quantities whichever is offering. You know the price. The manufacturer can offer at a price minus the expenses, channel expenses. So he is able to offer at a very low price to them, and these people buy from him directly, and they buy good quantities because it's an all India network. So what has happened is that, and you know, in India over time, we say retail inefficiencies have come in. A lot of inefficiencies have come in because of this large number of channels, a lot of margins at every place, a lot of inefficiencies have come in. And these online retailers, they are avoiding the inefficiencies of the system and bringing the retail and bringing the product from manufacturer direct to the consumer. Naturally, they are avoiding distribution costs. That is one reason why they are able to give such low prices. They buy directly from companies, and naturally they get very good deals. Then there is no other distribution channel. Distribution is the freight that comes in after you buy it from the online retailers store, go down till distribution point, till your place. There is a freight involved that they charge subsequently. That's all the expense that they need to incur, and payment happens. And what they have done is that they have built up a very good returns system. Apart from this, that is, you can return any goods you want. This is to increase or build up confidence in the Indian buyer. Because one doubt we have, what happens if the goods that I ordered is not exactly matching with what I intended? Then you have a choice. It is very easy. You can return it. Within 2-3 days, you get all the money back. Then all the required product information is provided online on the website. You are looking at apparel. They ask you which is the size. You look at the size, and there all the product description is given. So you can make an informed choice. Moreover, there is no risk of losing money because you can always return. Returning goods is very. So what has happened is that they have undertaken a sort of aggressive marketing strategies, and that really has helped them to grow at the pace at which they are growing today. And in India, we find that the 18 to 30 age group people, they are the ones who are patronizing online retail more than the older people. So what has happened when online retail naturally grows at this pace? There will be a lot of resistance from traditional retailers, and it does come. We have Kishore Bayani of Big Bazaar himself leading a brigade against this online shopping. And there has been, in many places, there has been an aggressive reaction. In some places, we find many retailers telling manufacturers not to sell goods online. If you want us to sell them, you should not sell online. Those sort of disruptive tactics too are being tried in India, because traditional retail has been waging a war, we can say, against online retail. So that goes on, but it appears we cannot stop organized retail. We cannot stop it, but only thing what traditional retailers can do is what we should see. When existing ways of doing things are threatened, naturally we have to change. And traditional retailers have to change in many ways. I was telling earlier that there are a lot of channel inefficiencies along the distribution channel. And that is why costs become so high at the retailer end. These inefficiencies have to be cleared. The channel has to be made more clear. All along, whatever inefficiencies we see, we have to clear them. Then the question comes, rather the important question of this session, what can traditional retailers do if they want to survive against this online retailing? So they can do. What they can do, let us see. This has been a topic of discussion. We find a lot of discussion taking place, or a lot of seminars, a lot of conferences taking place. How traditional retail, whether traditional retail will be replaced totally by online retail, or what they should do to overcome this concept of big business to consumer commerce, or the e-commerce, or things like that. Now, retailers who understand their customers properly, who study their customers properly, retailers who leverage technology properly, retailers who focus on differentiators properly. These categories of retailers who will have these three characteristics, they are the ones who are going to survive. That is sure. Because traditional marketing or traditional retailing will not go. It will be there. Online retailing cannot totally replace traditional retailing. Traditional retailing is going to be there, but traditional retailers have to change in few ways. And the ones who change, they are the ones who are going to survive. So what do? We can give 4, 5, 6 suggestions we can give to traditional retailers. Some of them, or all of them, if you try, you could find out some ways to survive in this. First of all, first option, turn the store into a fulfillment store. That is, take orders online. Customer comes here, takes the goods and go. That concept is called fulfillment store. Many places it is coming. Order fulfillment, we call it a fulfillment store. That is, orders taken online but serviced from the retail shop. That concept can be started. In fact, many places it has already started. Second point, we have what we call the in-store experience. The ambience, the experience of the customer inside the store. We call it in-store experience. That must be taken to a higher level. Or reward customers with a great experience in your store. That is another thing to do. And you could give your salesman, make use of technology, give your salesman tablets or mobiles, so that they make use of technology to explain things to customers. Because customer at home, when he is using the laptop and buying, he is getting so many information, which when he walks into the store, he must also be able to get. The solution for that is that, one solution we can say, give your salesman tablets and mobiles, and all the information, technical information can be given on them. They can show it to their customers. So the customer is getting latest information while talking to the salesman. Then we know that many people, even today, they want an in-store experience, what we call the human touch. We hear of people, nowadays even online banking is going up in a big way, but we hear some people say, they still walk into the branch. Why do you walk into the branch when you can do it in your house? I go there, I talk to the bank people, I talk to them about different things. I meet the manager, I talk to him. every day I go to the bank, it's an experience for me because I meet the manager, I meet the different staff, talk to them about so many things. Some people want that. We call it the human touch. Human touch is missing in online. So that's an advantage for traditional retailer. Customer coming to you, talking to you, talks hundreds of other things besides that, talks to the owner, talks to the staff. There is a bond between the customer and the retailer. Customer's house, there is a wedding, retailer is invited. This builds a customer bond. That bond, that should be strengthened. We say the human touch in all relationships between retailer and customer, it must be increased. So then a lot of other services and experiences which you have to give, which will be given. Now, again, one thing you must understand, today the retailers are giving such big discounts. They cannot continue to keep giving such big discounts forever. Now, one of the reasons why they are giving this such discounts, apart from all those channel savings, most of the e-retailers, they have investments from private equity funds. A lot of funds are coming in now. These funds are utilized to sustain the channels and keep them running. So when a retailer is offering discounts, he is able to offer discount. One of the reasons is that it is because of the large amount of private equity funds that are being pumped in. Retailers, they are presently looking at market growth. They are not looking at profits. They can afford to say this maybe another 2 or 3 years. Questions will start coming soon because indefinitely we cannot expect the funds to keep coming in regularly. So investors will soon start asking questions to these retailers, and they will have to take what we call realistic pricing. Of course, the prices will always remain lower than traditional price, but it will come to realistic levels over the next 1 or 2 years. That is for sure. Then we must encourage a concept, what I would call omni-channel. Many textbooks use that concept of omni-channel. That is, it's every available channel, online, traditional, organized trade, every channel works together to give a complete or unified or consistent message to the customer. Everyone works in unison to try and satisfy the customer. That concept is called omni-channel, and that is being developed, or it will develop in India, that offers some respite for the present situation. Then retailers, one of the problems that retailers have is very large inventories, and that is adding up to their costs. Most of the retail stores around, we find 3 months, 6 months, 9 months stocks lying in their shops. What does that imply? All that is adding to your cost. They have to study, they have to make themselves more efficient. Faster inventory turn is required. They have to devise ways of keeping less stocks. Less stocks means lesser expenses and also lesser amount of money and space that you require. And especially in industries like apparel, quick turn of inventory becomes very critical. Then we have another advantage that traditional retailer has is his ability to influence customers. Many customers still they go by the decision of the retailer. You just walk into a retail shop, look at them, you look at the customers coming. Customers invariably they will ask. When you are given options, customer comes and asks for one product, you give three, say I have these three brands. You will immediately you will ask the retailer which is the one you recommend. So the retailer will recommend something. Now this is possible only in traditional retail. It's not possible in online. In online they display all of them. Probably they will say number of people who bought, some indications will be given, but still the retailer, we say the power of retailer in influencing the customer, that is significant. Also the concept of looking at the product, physically feeling the product, that is also important. That can never be given by by online marketing. So these are some of the ways, some of the things that traditional marketing can do in order to overcome this problem that is created by online retailing. Of course, online retailing is not going to go away. It will be there. Traditional retail will also be there. Now, traditional retail can reinvent itself and they can offer stiff competition to online retail. Online retail also will grow because when you see two things that online retail offers, one is convenience, one is reach. Possibly traditional retail may not be able to offer aptly. Today's customer has no time for things. It's a reality, it is a fact. So how can you expect him to spend 1 hour or 2 hours at retail? If he gets an option, he avoids it, even if it is little expensive. So that is the reason online retailing will stay in India. Online retailing, which ultimately, now you and me, what we have to think is that customer has to get the best. That is ultimately what determines. Now talking of this retail in online retail shops, you see starting a online retail shop fairly simple. You need to have a website. You need to have a proper software and other website details. Then build up a range by having a good alliance with all a large number of vendors. The more alliances you make, the bigger is your assortment. That assortment is to be built up. Then you build a very good website, put all this on the website, then ensure proper marketing. Ensure that your site is seen everywhere. Whenever people go online looking for purchasing of online, for making online purchases. Then build up a good marketing strategy. Make a clear plan. The success of online retail is making a clear plan. So what we could say, both traditional and online, they should survive and they will survive. Now, because of today's customers' habits, change in customers' habits, change in demographics, change in income levels, certain categories of customers, they will always look for online shopping because of its convenience and reach. Traditional marketing also will survive because certain things which they do online cannot do. So what is the way ahead we have to see? The basic issue or the basic concept comes in again. Ultimately, what the customer wants is what more important, or rather what the customer gets is what is important, and customer may not forego the discounts he is getting. That is why he is looking at so much at online purchase, at online shopping. Then traditional retail has to change. Many of their inefficiencies they have to give up. They have to give a better customer experience. They have to give better customer experiences, make the customer more happy. Whenever customer walks into a traditional retailer's shop, that should be a good experience for him. Make it a unique experience. Customer coming inside, let it be a unique experience for the customer who walks into your shop. Try to make him happy. Give a better experience, give better ambience, give a better assortment, have quicker turnaround of inventory, professional management. These are things the traditional retailer can do to make the customer remain with traditional retail. The feel of the product, the human touch, these are some of the things which possibly online retail can never give. We find a lot of people going to traditional shops, they go because they want the physical feel of the product. Oh, I want to see the product, especially when it is some of the higher end products. They do not want to risk straight away ordering. Well, this is because internet shopping has taken place. Is in India it is coming slow. India has adopted to this online internet technology and online shopping in a rather slower manner when compared to other countries, and that is the reason a lot of aggressive marketing had been required from the online companies to ensure that Indians are switching to that channel. So, what we do, traditional retail, certainly it will remain a force, online will also be there. What we have to see is that what does the customer benefit? Both of them have to give the best deal for the customer. Traditional retail tries its best to give the best deal for the customer, online will also give. Both of them will be there, but both of them, certainly there is a lot of space for both of them to survive in India's large market. That is one thing for sure, that is one thing which we have to understand. Then, as long as the customer gets the benefit, nothing else matters. That is what we say. So, we can conclude, when customer gets a good deal, when customer benefits, why should we be bothered? Probably somebody may ask. Well, I would like to conclude by just one sentence, that there is enough space in the Indian retail market both for traditional as well as for online. Traditional has to gear up to make it a good experience for the customer and remove a lot of inefficiencies in the system. Certainly there is going to be good customers for them. Similarly, online also, things will settle down, things will stabilize in online. The online market of today is not going to be the same after 2 years or 3 years. It will change in many ways. I would say things would settle down and become more realistic. Then both will definitely survive. Either way, let us hope when we conclude that customer is going to get a good deal. Ultimately, it is the customer who counts. Let the customer enjoy. So that brings us to the end of this session, and thank you.